3.5 years ago, our Toastmaster introduced a guest speaker. Title of his speech is The Death Penalty. Bob Ransom. Bob Ransom, The Death Penalty. Comes on up here, and he gave this speech on a very difficult topic. He was a lawyer and why he doesn't believe in the death penalty. And at the end of it, all of our jaws hit the floor. We were mesmerized. We had another great speaker in Del Mar Toastmasters. He mesmerized us. What are the 3 things that Bob does that engages us? 1 is his presence. He's tall, and he holds himself in perfect posture, and he exudes an aura of confidence. 2, he was gifted with a naturally baritone voice. It's rich and rolling. He has what is called the broad Midwestern accent with just a kiss of mountain Colorado. And that's enough to give it the good old boy sound. And it's very compelling, very much draws you on in. This is a friendly talk. And yet he's got a mind like a steel trap. That was a didactic speech, everybody. And what he did was thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. But you wrapped it on up. You had no idea that this was what was going on. Bob is an extremely warm and gracious person, and he likes everybody. Many of us here have talked with him and become his friend. Well, I talked to Bob and says, I'm from Colorado, because he said that's where he did his lawyering at. And I said, my family also lives in Golden, and so we struck up a friendship. Well, Bob and I have some other common interests. 1 is that we believe that eating breakfast in a restaurant is a gift of the gods. 2, we're both time nuts. If we both say, Mike, breakfast at 7:15, by golly, by gosh, I better be there at 7:15 or else, right? The 3rd is that we both have an amazing passion for, I'll call it metaphysics. Many people would call it woo-woo. Okay? And one of the things when you're talking to Bob is about his fascination with the Great Pyramid in Giza. And what it is that, folks, for those who don't know it, he actually spent over about, I think, 45 minutes meditating by himself in the King's Chamber in the Great Pyramid. Wow. One of the few people in the world I even know that you could go into it. It's amazing. Bob is warm and gracious, and he said, Mike, we have a ranch out there in Pagosa Springs. Come and visit Susan and I at any time. Well, last spring we're at breakfast, and I said, hey, we're getting ready to go on a vacation. Could we come? He says, yeah, bring your family and meet my family. I want you to meet my son, JJ, who was actually a speaker here, and his son, my grandson. I said, great. So it was very early June. We went on down, and folks, we had a great time. And I think that's an overused word, but guess what? We had a great time. It was amazing. On the 2nd day, everybody took off to go see Pagosa, and I had been driving for 2 weeks throughout Colorado, and I was just ready to take 5 and just drink the coffee and watch the clouds, which in Pagosa are amazing. And up comes Susan, Bob's wife, and we started chatting. And her backstory is a movie or a book. Absolutely incredible. Salient point is that she and Bob were divorced 40 years ago, and they met. She was a prosecuting lawyer, and he was a defense lawyer. Not a really recipe for love, right? They get together, and she already had a 3-year-old boy named Jarrett. And Jarrett would become famous in the late 1990s as JJ. And what he was a snowboarder. And he was the face of snowboarding. He was an international champion in the half pipe. How many saw the half pipe in the Olympics? Does everybody know what the half pipe is? He's one of the really co-inventors of the whole thing. And believe me, you have to be absolutely insane to do this. You're on this ice wall, and you can shoot up 40 feet in the air, and you're doing flips, and you have to hit that ice just perfect, or you smash and really hurt yourself. And he has numerous times. He has been retired from that, and he is now the current U.S. men's snowboard and half pipe coach. Been doing that for years. If you watched the Olympics, you saw him on TV. So it was really wonderful to get to know Susan and her family. What a warm, gracious person. And when you put Susan and Bob together, they're yin and yang, everybody. They're 2 different people, but they complement each other. It's a really strong team. And I told both Susan and Bob when we left Pagosa Springs, I says, if you need any help building anything, let me know. Give me a call. Well, guess what? 3 weeks ago, I get a call. Help! Help, help, help. similar to where we're moving to. They live in Encinitas on 3rd Street, and they were moving to what is 4th Street, and it's all right around Moonlight Beach, if everybody knows that area. So it's about a half a mile. They're actually moving into JJ's house, which is a duplex. What they were putting in is a bathroom. But what happened is that everything was on a very tight schedule. They had jackhammered the floor on out and put in what is called the rough plumbing with the stub-ups for the vents for those in the building. And we all have bathrooms. How many walls do you have in a bathroom?
4.
How many walls did we have there?
3.
3? That's 2.
2?
Yeah, they were missing some walls, and they need to have something built. And then guess what? There was no floor, because it was all dug on out. So, and they're looking at me and I said, can you do this? Yeah, this is called a hanging wall. We're going to suspend it from the ceiling. And you look up, well, there really wasn't a flat ceiling, there was a vaulted ceiling. And can you do this? I said, sure. And Susan's giving me that look like, because I know in the back of the head, aren't you a little old? I can do this, you know, and where's the bathroom? Yeah. So what happened is that I pulled in all of my tools. I have been in professional building, and I still will come out of retirement for people I like. Okay, so we started, and they helped us. And this was the amazing part about it, is that this whole thing was a total recipe for disaster. Because not only were they moving from a larger place to a smaller place, they had stuff all over the house. They had a dog that would stand right by your feet, and when you're working with power tools, not a good idea. I had power saws all over the place, and when you have a maniac 5-year-old running around, you do not want to have him around power saws. We had an escape cat, okay, that if you didn't shut the door, the thing would run out and run away. And so all this is going on, and plus we're just in a very tight space. How do you make something like that work? You're friends and you work together, and nobody is allowed to lose it, including the carpenter, okay? So we got it built, got it going, and as a matter of fact, today, the reason Bob's not here, he got ill, I'm gonna go back and hang the door. One of the things that happened in just talking to Susan and Bob is that it's the idea of cementing friendship, because one of the things that happened on Monday was their cat, Buddy, died.
Oh.
And we've all seen pictures of Benny, right?
Yeah.
Lauren's Benny. Buddy makes Benny looks like he's a svelte little cat. This thing was a monster cat, and Bob and Susan loved their cat. It died. Or it was on dying. She took it to the emergency thing. It's $1,000, 1 hour later, still dead.
Oh.
Okay. And I come on Tuesday morning, and Susan is just pouring tears. But we had to, and it was good therapy for her. And this is the idea of friendship. It's easy to have friends where things are okay. But when you have stress in your life, can you be there for other people? And when you have something that is really hard and painful, like the loss of a loved one, and I think we've all have lost our furry friends at some point. We've outlived most of them. It is one of the most devastating things that we can have happen in our lives. Can you be there for them? And you can't do anything but you say, I understand, I sympathize, I get it, and whatever I can do is this, I care for you. One of the things here that makes this club so strong is the idea of friendship. Some are more closer than others, but I feel like I could call each and every one, including this young man here now, and just talk to them. And this is what we're here to do, is the idea of sharing our lives. We all have things in our lives that we need to get off of our chest, to talk about, and for people to say, I understand, and you're okay. You're okay. And I still like you, no matter what. It's a powerful, powerful thing that we do. We all have friends. I've been very blessed to have 2 new friends. I have been very blessed to have a community of friends. And I think this is one of the great things that we can do in our lives, is just to have friends. There's a lady right there that I've gotten to know very, very well this last year. And it always hasn't been up and down here either, or it always hasn't been up here either. Thank you, everybody, and always have friends in your life.